Scarlet Witch is my favorite hero to play in this game. She's my favorite hero overall. I love her play style. I like the way that she works. I think it's really cool. And when she first came out, it was really fascinating to see how she worked with manipulating the encounter deck, right? Counting boost icons, depending on what boost icons came out, different things happen. So that's why it's going to be a little bit harder to show today how this will work because we don't know what the boost icons will be. But we can kind of guess and whatnot. So anyway, we're going to go over my current way of playing Scarlet Witch. Now, once again, this is how I've been playing her. This isn't the best way. This isn't the only way. You know, it's none of that. It's just how I've been playing her. A lot of people play her kind of justice because they want to lean into that justice aspect, which I think is fine. But I personally like her a lot in aggression. And I took a little bit of the aggression stuff, but I did more of like a basic deck for Justice Witch recently. So there's a lot of basic cards in this. And I really like it because, again, the focus is more on her kit and the basic cards are there to like kind of support that. So you'll see when we go down the table and look at the deck. So we'll do that. But 1 second, if you look down in the description, there's a link to the deck list in there if that's easier for you to see. And let's pop down and talk about this deck. Well, here it is all laid out. These are all the cards in the deck. And I guess the first thing to note is this isn't like your typical Scarlet Witch aggression deck. This is more focused on basic cards than aggression type cards. And I know a lot of people will say like, oh, you know, there's better aggression cards for her. Absolutely, there are. But I've been focusing on basic because I wanted to try to experiment this with her more and see how it worked. And again, this is just how I've been playing with her recently. I think it's pretty fun. I think it works pretty well. Only when talking a bit about her kit, obviously her big attack card is Molecular Decay, right? Deal 5 damage to an enemy and discard the top 2 encounter cards for each boost icon. You can do 1 additional damage. The key with that is now as you get to harder and harder villains, the average boost icon, I think, is like 2.7 now. So let's just say it's like 1 is 2 and 1 is 3. That's another 5 damage, right? So for 3 cost, 10 damage overall on the higher end, or I guess the higher average, is really, really strong, right? And I know there's now, 4 boost icon cards. So if you got like a 3 and a 4, let's say, that'd be 7 plus the 5 is now 12 damage. 3 for 12 damage. She can absolutely swing for a ton, which is crazy. The other thing we have to note is Hexball is one of her cards that you should be playing pretty much all the time. The reason being is you discard the top 3 cards of the encounter deck. For each one discarded, you get to do the things on it, and you get to do it in your order, right? So it doesn't have to be like you discard 1, do the thing, discard 2, do the thing, discard 3, do the thing. It doesn't have to be that. You can discard all 3 and then make your decisions after that. Or at least that's how I understand it. And then I think that's the main ones to really focus on. Obviously, her crest can be really important to get out because you can increase or decrease the number, helping out Hexbolt and making Molecular Decay just a little bit stronger. But all right, let's go over the rest of her deck left to right. Starting with her allies, we have Ironheart in here as just a cheap block. She only has 10. Well, she has 10 health, which is fine, but not great. But I like Ironheart, pretty cheap to get out there. Get you draw a card. Again, I want card draw to try to get to her cards quicker and more often. Mockingbird, I really only have in here if you're playing a villain that's not stalwart or steady, just so you can stun the enemy, is pretty strong, which is nice. Professor X can give it to you and confuse the villain, which is really strong. And having the 3 threat there really helps. We didn't really mention this, but Scarlet Witch has a 2/1/2 stat line. She's not going to be attacking much. Basically, with her, I just have her thwarting, and that's it. And then sometimes you need that bigger threat removal in there as well. Lockjaw I've been experimenting more with recently because I liked him in the beginning and then I kind of stopped. So with Lockjaw, you may play Lockjaw from your discard pile during your turn. I don't play him from my hand. I usually just use him as a resource and throw him away or whatever else. But that's how I've been playing him, is just from the discard pile if I need an ally to come in and do a quick hit or do a quick throw and then knock that ally out, right, as a chump block. So that's what I've been doing with him recently. And then Nick Fury, again, for the card draw, trying to get to our cards faster. Then we have Aggression Allies Spider-Girl, who I still really like because she's only 2 costs, and then she comes in and stun and confuses a minion, which is really strong, right? It can be really strong. And then, as you can expect from me, Wolverine is up there. I really still like Wolverine. Piercing helps. Things having tough status can always slow you down, and she doesn't have a great way to get through it that I know of. So that's why I enjoy using Wolverine for the piercing there, and he's a good attacker overall. Now, I have 2 first aids. One of these can either be for yourself or for Wolverine, or if there's someone else you're trying to get better, like a Lockjaw or whatever. But basically, because I don't flip down that much with Scarlet Witch, I stay up in hero form for the most part, that I just want to be able to heal a little bit now and again. Spiritual meditation is an almost must-have for her. Spiritual meditation allows you to draw 2 cards and choose and discard 1 card from your hand. Again, just another way to get the cards that you're looking for quicker. Then we have Clobber. 2-cost event, deal 3 damage to enemy. If this is the first card you played this round, return this card to your hand. Again, I like it as a cheap way to get a little bit of damage out there, and then now you can use that card as a resource for something else in her kit that you're looking to do. So that's why it's in there. Then we have Boot Camp as our 3-cost support. Each ally you control gets +1 damage. Again, for something like Wolverine now swinging 4, right? Spiral Girl swinging 3. Right? There's a bunch of things that you could be doing extra damage with, so I like that. Again, when I play Aggression Scarlet Witch, I'm not building out a ton. I'm really kind of just like going for it. Then we have Sorcerer Supreme, who should be one of the first cards you try to get in your hand. Man, I don't know. My camera's not focusing today. As a mystic trait, you get a +1 hand size in your hero form, which is a phenomenal card. We have Endurance, because like I said, we don't have a ton of health, so I do like getting the extra health. Death Focus allows us to reduce the cost of the next superpower card you play this turn by 1. Again, Hexbolt is a superpower card. You could do Warp Reality is a superpower card. Molecular Decay isn't, which is kind of weird, but that's fine. And the other Hex Bolts. And there's also 4 Hex Bolts. So it's, again, like a third, just over a third? I think it's just over a third. Maybe close to half of her cards are superpower cards. So it helps out. It's not crazy needed, but I think it helps out enough. Queen Carrier. Get a resource generator because she doesn't have one, which is really nice. And then Avengers Mansion can be a really good card. Again, trying to get the card draw going so you can get to her cards faster. We have all of our doubles and our basic doubles. Now, the reason we have the basic doubles is because we're running some expensive basic cards such as Nick Fury, Lockjaw. Again, Lockjaw being able to play it from the discard pile. Quinn Carrier, Avengers Mansion. Like, we have some expensive cards here. If you don't want to run both of these, you could probably run something else if you really wanted to. But again, I'm just trying to get through her cards as fast as possible. So, all right, let's go up. Let's talk a little bit about strategy, and then we'll play some opening hands and closing hands. So with Scarlet Witch, the biggest thing we are looking for is honestly to try to get her cards, right? Get her cards faster. The other thing I mentioned too, excuse me, with Boot Camp is that it helps out Quicksilver, who is your ally, right? Because Quicksilver naturally attacks for 2. Now would attack for 3, and you can ready him up, which is really strong. And then you can use first aid cards to ready him up. So there is a way you can do like a little bit, I wouldn't say a Voltron build, but a little bit of way like beefing up Quicksilver, who is very, very strong, as well as Wolverine is. So you can get your allies swinging for a lot. But again, mostly with her deck, I'm looking to get the Hex Bolts out there. Molecular Decay to basically erase any enemy that I need to pretty fast. Magic Shield's pretty strong, especially if you don't have a blocker out there. It could be really nice to get Magic Shield so that you're absorbing 3 damage, which is pretty good. Some people like Agatha. She's not bad, but again, I don't flip to Alter Ego side that often with her, so she's not as useful. Like I said, you want to get her Crest, which is pretty good. Warp Reality is to cancel an encounter card, which is pretty good. And then the other card we have is Chaos Magic, where you can play a card from your hand, ignoring its resource cost. Again, you can do this with some of your expensive cards. You can do this with one of her cards, whatever you want to do. This can be a way to get Avengers Mansion and really cheap as well. So anyway, that's the overall strategy. Again, play Hexbolt, save your Molecular Decays for big attacks, get allies out to help you out, and let them keep attacking, right? Let them keep attacking, and you yourself as a hero should be exhausting the thwart, generally speaking. So let's go down. Let's do some opening hands and then some closing hands. All right, we're down at the table now. Let us shuffle this up really fast. So right away, again, getting her resource generators, getting her +1 hand size card, anything like that. First round is generally what I'm looking for. And then past that, just controlling the board state. So let's shuffle this up. And then let's draw our 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see what we got. So Molecular Decay, Spider-Girl, Death Focus, Spiritual, a double, and Quinn. So I like a lot of these cards, actually. I like those 4, right? I like those 4. Let's throw away these 2 cards and draw 2 more. Hexbolt and X. Let us... We could use our ability, but I don't know if there's 2 cards I really want to discard. All right, so what we could do first is we could do spiritual meditation, right? So we can only play if we're mystic, and we are mystic on our alter ego side. So we'll do that. We'll draw 2 cards and choose and discard 1 from your hand. We can get rid of first aid. That's fine. 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know. All right, what we'll do is we'll switch up to Wanda's side. I want to get Queen Carrier into play, so we'll use a double and X. Does that make sense? Yeah, we'll use a double and X. To play Queen Carrier, yeah, double X, play Queen Carrier. We'll exhaust Queen Carrier to play Death Focus. And then we can exhaust Death Focus and throw away Ironheart to play Hexbolt, right? To play Hexbolt. So now we could deal 2 damage to enemy. We can remove 2 threat, draw a card, or place a status token on a character. Now, for this part, it'd be nice to get like Tough on Scarlet Witch, so we don't have to worry about that. If we need to, always remember that when a boost icon on an encounter card would be counted, discard the top card in the encounter card and count that one instead. So that's key if you're just getting like a bunch of threat removal ones right now, and you're like, there's no threat to remove. So always feel free to redo one of them. Let's just say it's just damage, whatever, and we had a Tough or something, and we got to draw a card. I don't know. All right, Quicksilver's fine. And then I remove 2 threat. All right, cool. So we'll hold on to Quicksilver. 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a terrible hand, but okay. So now we're set up. Let's say we had the Tough on from before with Hexbolt, whatever, doesn't really matter. We get hit. Okay. So, man, we do not. This is not a great hand. I personally like Wolverine the most. So we'll probably put Wolverine to play, dump everything else, have Wolverine attack, piercing, and we thwart 2, right? We thwart 2, and then we're ready up. Draw 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hopefully, threw away 4 cards for 5. Okay. Then we had a double spiritual. Okay, cool. Now we go, let's say we took another hit, unfortunately, we were tough last time. This time we take a hit, right? Does a little bit of damage, whatever. All right, so first thing we'll do is spiritual meditation. We get to draw our 2 cards, 1, 2, and get rid of a card. We'll get rid of Mockingbird for now. And then we'll draw 2 more cards, Hexbolt and Nick Fury. And then we have to get rid of a card. Ooh, this is a really good hand. I don't want to get rid of anything. Fortunately, we're going to get rid of Hexbolt. Ugh, that feels weird. All right, so what we'll do is we'll use a double to play Sorcerer Supreme. We will use Chaos Magic, so we get to play a card ignoring its resource cost and discard cards on the top of the encounter deck equal to that printed cost. So we discard 4 cards, and we're going to draw 3. So we have 1, 2, 3. All right, cool. So we can use Lockjaw, throw them away as an endurance, or use an endurance. We can use Queen Carrier to play first aid to heal ourselves up, or maybe Wolverine if we needed to, whatever. We'll thwart 2 more attacks, right? More attacks. I'm going to hold on to my double for right now, and then we will ready up. I'll hold on to double, so it's 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. Okay. So Nick Fury would probably take the block for us, right? And then be next round. Let's just play one more hand. I would use a Queen Carrier and a Death Focus to play Hexbolt. Again, we don't know what it'd be. Let's just say one of them is to draw a card. Let's say one's a Tough. It doesn't really matter. Okay, we're good. Now, Clobber we wouldn't play because it's not the first card we play, so we wouldn't get this back in our hand. So it's 2, 3, 4. Let's dump a double 3, 4 to play Avengers Mansion. We can exhaust Mansion to draw a card. Warp Reality, which could be nice, but I'm going to throw that away to play Magic Shield, so at least we have some defense on. Maybe we don't use Wolverine, so he heals up a little more and we remove 4 threat, right? And now we're very, very, very... Oh, I drew 5 cards instead of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think 1 card short that time, but that's all right. And then now we're really good, right? We got our crest if we need that. We can use the mansion to draw another card. That would shuffle everything up. We've already gone through our card in like 3-4 turns. It might have been a little bit faster because I forgot to do Sorcerer Supreme. My bad. But that's all right. And then again, I would use a double to play a Hexbolt. Let's say one of the things lets us draw a card. It's Warp Reality, which has to do an encounter card stuff. I might use Boot Camp at this point. I'd probably put the crest in. There's a bunch of different things you could do. So you could just see right there, we're pretty good. I would actually, well, okay, so let's actually play this out. Let's get Queen Carrier. 1, 2, we'll get rid of the Magic Shield. 3, to play Boot Camp so that everyone's a bit stronger. We just put it there for now. We have so many cards on the table. And then we could play, actually, let's do these two to play Scarlet Witch's Crest. Makes things a little bit better. Wolverine's a little more healed up, swinging for 4 now. We're removing 2 threat removal, right? We're doing everything with that. We're good to go. And then everything readies up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then hopefully we get an ally. All right, we got Mockingbird. We get 2 spiritual meditations. So, you know, again, you'd be drawing cards. I would throw away Lockjaw. You'd be drawing 2 more. Probably don't need first aid at this point. Then you could do Avengers Mansion, and then you draw another Hex Bolt. We'd probably be looking at Chaos Magic once again for Nick Fury, drawing 3 cards. And then at this point, we'd probably be swinging for a lot, so Molecular Decay would be strong. We could use both of these to play Hex Bolt. Let's say, again, we got a Tough, and we got to draw another card. Okay, we have 2 Molecular Decays. So at that rate, I'd be doing a double and a 3 to play Molecular Decay, doing a lot of damage, right? And then we could do more Molecular Decay, right? There's already so many cards that we have. Her card draw can get insanely good, insanely fast. So anyway, that's just a rough idea of what an opening hand would look like, or opening hands. Again, I think I messed up once or twice with forgetting Sorcerer Supreme. My bad. But let's do some closing hands now. All right, now it's time for some closing hands. Again, the first stage of the villain has 2 life, then 18 on the next. I think last video I did 4 for group because group is so OP. But regardless, let's just say it's 2 for right now. Let's get our hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because we have Sorcerer Supreme. We have the Crest, Death Focus, or Queen Carrier. Just realized a lot of these are a little too low for you to see. Avengers Mansion, and Boot Camp and Endurance. All right. So Clobber, Spiritual Meditation, Chaos Magic. Okay, we got a lot of stuff in here. Okay, so for example, I probably do is use Avengers Mansion to draw a card. It's a Hex Bolt. Let's do Spiritual Meditation to draw 2 cards. Warp Reality we don't need yet. And then let's use, we had another one, right? Yeah, another Spiritual Meditation. Okay, we can get rid of Clobber then. Clobber's not going to make 100% sense. So with all of this, what we can do is we can use Hex Bolt, right? We'll play Hex Bolt. Let's say we exhaust Death Focus and Queen Carrier to play Hex Bolt. Let's say we were able to do 2 damage, remove some threat, and place a tough status, right? We didn't get the card draw that time. So it's 2 damage, brings them down to 18 total. So that's first stage done. Cool. Then what we can do is a Chaos Magic to play Molecular Decay. Does 5 damage, and let's say we drew a 2 and a 1, so it'd be 5, 6, 7, 8 damage overall. Brings them down to 10. Cool. That's easy. And then we can do a double and a Hex Bolt. Let's say we didn't do any damage, but we drew a card and we got to put a tough status on and remove some threat. Whatever, doesn't matter. But let's say we did no damage that time. Then I'd probably just use a double to play Hex Bolt once again. Again, we could have manipulated this with the Crest. But let's say we again do 2 damage this time and we get to draw a card, which is Spiritual Meditation. Okay, so we'll use Spiritual Meditation. We'll draw 2 cards, Molecular Decay, and a Great Double. We can't play Molecular Decay, can we? Fortunately, we cannot. Unfortunately, we can play none of these. So let's get rid of the Great Double. That's fine. All right, so we'll hold on to them. They have 8 life left, so we get to just remove 2 threat. That's all I'm going to worry about. We can exhaust for 3 damage because of Boot Camp, so that brings them down to 5 life. Quicksilver gets to ready up once per round. We get to, or Paraphase. 1, 2, 3 brings down to 2 life left over. Now, we said we had a tough status or whatever, so we get to draw back up. We'll get rid of this one, so it's going to be 1, 2, shuffle all these cards back up. And then they would go. And I would actually probably use Quicksilver as a blocker because all we have to do is just use Molecular Decay to win at this point. So we have 1, 2. Oops, let me show this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, super strong cards. Let's say Quicksilver is used as a blocker. It gets knocked out. All right, so first we use Avengers Mansion. We get to draw a card, Magic Shield. That's fine. For fun, because let's have fun, we can use Nick Fury. Use 1 2, 3, 4 cards. Draw 3. We could easily win, but now I'm just curious. All right, so we could do a double, and a Mockingbird right now to play Molecular Decay. Obviously do enough damage. Don't even have to worry about it. They would do extra damage at that point. I'd probably play a Magic Shield just to have it. So in case I had to take any damage, I'd probably throw away this card because we don't need it. We could throw it too. We could do 2 more damage, right? That's it. Sorry, that kept going off screen. But that's it. Once you're built out, and again, you're just trying to cycle through to get her strongest cards, which you should be able to do pretty easily. It should be pretty easy, right? It should be pretty easy. You want the allies out there to block. The +1 attack helps a lot, obviously, but there's that first like round or two is just really trying to build out, and she can build out fast because again, you're able to cycle through your cards so quickly. There's a lot of resource generators in there. Chaos Magic. I think that's what it's called. Not Chaos. Is that what it's called? Chaos Magic? Yeah, Chaos Magic. Chaos Magic is very helpful for playing an Avengers Mansion or a Nick Fury or someone like that. Being able to get that out there for free and just going through the encounter deck faster is really helpful, which are kind of the big ones I use it for. Obviously, then when I'm getting ready to like do the final push, I'll use it for Molecular Decay. But before that, Queen Carrier isn't even that bad for it either. Like if I had to, that'd probably be next on the list. But Avengers Mansion, Nick Fury, then maybe a Queen Carrier or something like that. Something that's 3 costs that's really good. It would be good for Chaos Magic. All right, hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully this gives you some inspiration for a new or different way to play Scarlet Witch. Again, I love her. She's one of my favorite heroes in the game. I think she's a lot of fun. I think she's really cool to play. So like I said, hopefully this inspires you to play her maybe a little bit differently. Again, more so focusing on her cards, not necessarily like a certain aspect. I mean, honestly, I think she can play any aspect well because her and her basic cards are incredibly strong for her. So anyway, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you want to see another video like this, right here, I have Groot. This is OP Justice Groot, one of my favorite ways to play Groot. It's a lot of fun. If you made this far, make sure to hit like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff. I really appreciate it. See you all next time.